Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Season 1, Episode 11 of Dungeons & Dragons Arbor Adventures, which uses the Crown and Skull rules. And at this point, the Sun Elf rogue assassin Dolos has escaped to the Sapphire mines, to the Dwarven Miners' Sapphire mine in Phandalin. And this is overseen by Stone Lord Thera, okay, who is daughter to Forge Lord Shram, right? Now, Thera has broken away from her parents, and she's trying to start this independent mining area in Phandalin, right? And then, of course, there was huge beef between the Dwarven miners and the human woodcutters in Phandalin. So at this point, Forge Lord Shram, not understanding that the human woodcutters had been equipped with the bracers of 100 warriors, which fully protected those warriors from any non-magical weapons, right? And actually sent any non-magical attack crashing back at the attacker, stunning and surprising them and killing many of them, and allowing 60 actually at this point 40 dwarves to die, right? So Forge Lord Shram has retreated with his, legs, his tail between his legs, and is now being hosted by his daughter, Stone Lord Thera. Now, what's interesting is, Erisarn, third daughter of Enclave Galena, and also, who else? Oh, yeah. And then Sun Elf rogue assassin Dolos and Forge Lord Shram and Farrowin, Dolos' brother, and Grax are all there. And they're brought, mead and mutton and hospitality by the Dwarven miners of Phandalin, right? But at no point does Stone Lord Thera greet her father, right? And the reason why is he brought 600 sentinels down here and she never asked him to, right? So she's not really sure, how she wants to handle this. And there's at least a cold front between the two of them, right? So at this point, the discussion occurs, and Erisarn is like, Forge Lord Shram, what are you going to do? And he's like, well, there's only two paths. We have to retreat back to Mount Hotenau, or I need to engage every ally Mount Hotenau has, and we need to go to full war. But if we do that, there is a distinct possibility this war will escalate to all of Faerun. In fact, there's a high probability that this war will escalate to a war in Faerun, not just a war in Phandalin, right? So then Grax says, well, listen, if you need to get back to Mount Hotenau, in the Garnet Mines, there is a teleportation circle which leads from the Garnet Mines in Phandalin to Neverwinter, under Tiefling Garnet Merchant Jesp's manse. So all we would have to do is get the 540 dwarves that we have here and move them tonight in secret to the Garnet Mines, right? And then we could come out in Neverwinter. And so Forge Lord Shram, discusses this and thinks about it and decides, we were completely routed today. They have magic items that I don't have an answer to. We were never asked to come here, which Erisarn had warned him about. And then he decides, okay, we're going to go to, we're going to use Grax's plan, and we're going to. And so Dolos, and then Forge Lord Shram asks him, Dolos, do you think that's wise? And Dolos says, yes, I do think that's wise. And at that point, that night, they execute the plan. And the plan is to get everybody to the Garnet Mine. So at that point, that night, there's a decision, and actually Forge Lord Shram's like, hey, I just figured something out. If we take everybody in there, if I take all 540 sentinels in their armor and we're attacked, we're ready to fight. But if we leave our armor behind, we have a much higher chance of making it to the garnet mines without being seen, right? And you know, and we could make it there without any skirmish at all, without any loss of life. So what should I do? And Dolo says, don't take those men without their armor, right? Like, he's like, they got to wear it. So they try to sneak between the Sapphire mine, you know, at about midnight to the garnet mine. And sure enough, they fail and they're found out. But they're found out about 700 feet before they get to the garnet mine. And so then I had, so basically I kind of did this calculation. I was like, you know, Forge Lord Shram's plan had a 15% chance of succeeding. And then Arisarn is aiding him. That gives another 15%. And then you have deception 10%, Dolos. So that takes it up to 40%, right? And then and then there was something else. Oh, and then the advice that that Dolos gave Shram, I increased it to 60%. So then at that point I was like, you have to roll a 60% or below. So you have to roll 60 or below on the percentile dice. Dolos rolled a 91, which I was like, okay, that's going to be 31 dwarves dead because of your fail rate. 60 to 91, that's 31 deaths. But since you told them to use their armor, it's going to cut it in half. So it was like 15 more dwarves. And actually, it was close to 20. So the total dwarf life lost was from Mount Hope now was 60, which was a little more than the amount of life that had been lost to, which was a little more than the amount of life that had been initially lost when human woodcutter leader Demeth flooded the garnet mine and 54 dwarves died. Right, so they all get to the garnet mine, all rush down, and the Phandalin dwarven miners activate the portal, and all of Forge Lord Shram's dwarven sentinels go through the Phandalin dwarf miner garnet mine portal and come out on the other side at Tiefling Garnet Merchant Jesp's manse, right? And all of these Mount Hope now dwarves arrive in Neverwinter. And that's where we're going to cut it off for this part of the tale. Thank you very much for letting me share this with you. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion on the best parts of Arbor Adventure. The important part is when I hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider like, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.